Thomas, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
We're early.
Yeah.
We're early.
I changed the time so we could be early.
Yeah, we nailed it.
It's cheating. It's cheating, but I'm going to count it.
100%. We have to count it. Oh, long day for you.
It is. The lighting is terrible. I have to. Okay, that's a little better, but at least you can see me, guys.
You need a hat.
I am not in my. That was so bright. No, it's still. I glance at that and then I just can't see anything. I just see these little LED bars.
Let's see. Someone said they can't hear you.
They can't hear me?
That's what somebody said.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Maybe if I turn the music down.
Once we can the music, it kind of equals out. So maybe that'll change a little bit, but
slow fade for dramatic effect.
Nailed
Still
it.
there. Not done yet. Not done yet.
Paul Max says I hear you both
All right,
fine. Yellow Man says I can hear you. So we're here.
We are.
Kind of reminds me of that meme where the guy's wearing a hat, but it's backwards and he's looking at something in the sun. And he's doing this and he's got sunglasses pinned on his shirt.
This is me.
Yeah.
I blind myself so you guys can get the shot. This is the extent we go to here.
And we get shadow puppets.
Yes. Oh, I should have brought puppets. I can look at this. Let's see. Let me do my best.
There it is.
Yeah.
Quack, quack, quack.
And then I could do the other hand. No, where do I need to be? Oh, right there. There it is. So they could fight.
This
one's bigger. Yeah, never mind.
Somebody's clipping this for
unsub. Oh, what's happening?
Oh, you like my new studio?
That looks really familiar.
As it should.
I can tell you what song. Let's see. What is it? 8 p.m. I can tell you what song that church bell is playing right now. Because it looks like that says Aiden on the water tower, and I can hear those bells from my house.
Coming to you from Aiden, North Carolina.
On the road. Watching out for my house while I'm here in Utah.
Figured I'd do a quick favor.
I will ask you, maybe right after the podcast, if you could just swing by my house and check the sump, make sure it's not making a splashing sound. I'll
make sure the basement is nice and dry and good to go. Easy peasy.
Thank you. I've been worried about that since the hurricane came through about a week ago. But if it is making a splashing sound, there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, I've just got a flooded basement, and probably a mold problem to deal with it when I get home. But that is what happens when you live in North Carolina when you take a week vacation, or a month, in this case may be.
Yeah.
But thank you. How was the weather there in?
Today was nice. No rain. Humidity was a little up there. I think we hit about 82 degrees, something like that. But way better than where I came from back in North Texas, when I think we were at 104 today.
Do you take the motorcycle?
Yeah, no.
Can you imagine Texas to North Carolina on I don't know, on the bullet bike, right? They're a lot of fun to drive, but not for a long time.
Not on either two of the ones I own. That would be terrible. But no, all is good. Obviously, just teasing. I'm at my home studio. I just found a quick picture of Scott's hometown and threw it on the green screen for the night. But it was blazing hot, still is for many days here. But we just had a ton of pop-up storms just hit our area. So literally, it was great that you were still covering court, because I was in the driveway standing in the pouring rain with the thunder and lightning, because it dropped from 104 to 89. And was watering everything. So it was awesome. I'm actually watching the radar right now. It's still just hovering. It's just so amazing. It was fantastic.
That's perfect timing. That is perfect. I just noticed, if I look closely, I think the vantage point of this picture in your background, you're standing in front of Brown's, the mortuary. The town has one mortuary, or two mortuaries, and you're standing in front of one of them. Yep, that's right there. Do you see the script B right there?
And it smells kind of funny.
That's it.
All right.
A little crematorium going there and back as well. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, big shout out to Marilyn, who became a brand new member here during our last show. I also got picked up on this one. Thank you very much, Marilyn. Red Pen gifted a membership to kick things off. Greeners gifted 5 memberships. Lois Cox gifted a membership, and Red Pen gifted another 5 memberships. This is what happens when you come to the podcast. People are just generous.
Generous people. I love it.
Oh, wow. What a week it has been. There were times when it was like there's nothing, and then there are times it's been like we don't have enough hours in the day to handle everything that's going on right now.
Yeah,
and I've sacrificed sleep, which gives you a lot of empty bottles of Mountain Dew and a very wired RA.
Shout out to Samantha Terry for saying her favorite RA is an RA on Mountain Dew yesterday in chat, because you get wired up and your remarks to things that happen in court are so fast, they're so witty, and your reactions.
Man. One of these days it's going to get me in trouble.
Yeah, it's been fun, but it's great. The busy weeks. Yeah, someone just said right here, the weeks fly by. Totally agree. It's sitting here being Thursday night. It literally felt like yesterday was Monday. So I enjoy the busyness and the whiplash, as we call it, as we go back and forth and cover different things. And knock on wood, the scheduling right now is working. So
Pickles and Zoe. Pickles. Hopefully everyone's okay. That's terrible. Car accidents are never fun. I've been in a few. As a matter of fact, I've caused an accident I was not driving. Yeah, let me explain this. I was the cause of a crash when I was the passenger in a car, because my buddy was driving and I pulled the handbrake. Don't do that, just for the record. That's not a smart idea. He wanted me to, because I was teaching him how to drift around corners, but he didn't handle that one very well. He just couldn't do the handbrake and the steering. Long story, and I probably shouldn't tell it because I'm not sure what the statute of limitations is. Oh man,
buddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good friend. He's actually in Canada now.
Oh.
This happened over in England, but he lives in Canada now.
Canada. Did you hear how Canada actually got their name?
No. How?
Well, so one of the settlers was walking down the main drag there, and they just couldn't come up with the name. So they literally put some letters in a hat, and they walked down, and one of the first people they ran into said, "Hey, we need you to draw the letter out." And the first guy pulls it out and says, "C, A." And then the next guy pulled one, N, A.
D, A.
Yeah, and then you end up
there we go. I could tell we were headed that direction, but the delivery was flawless. Thomas, I'm impressed.
Here it is. Nailed it. See
yes. Will you guys focus? Ireland's princess won the internet. She did. I pinned this just so we could show this later. Thank you very much, Ireland's princess being first in chat on the podcast. That is just wonderful. Thank you so much, and good riddance and good luck with the internet is what I'll say.
Yeah,
one of those days. Oh my goodness. So much to talk about. We've got some funny stories. We've got some court-related stories. We've got
we do.
Chat is hilarious. This week has been, I would say, it's been a little edgier than normal. With the mods been getting a workout. I can tell you that tomorrow, if things continue the way they have been trending, I'll probably have a message from the mods saying, "RA, do you think you could just mention in chat just a little bit that this is a family show and that we're all friends?" So I'm probably going to do that tomorrow morning because it has been just a little bit wild and crazy. But,
little testy.
I mean, and some of it's not. Some of it's the fact that I was on Mountain Dew and I might have said a few things that I wouldn't have said normally. Part of it is the fact that in the bad neighbor trial, the expert witness who was supposed to testify about the decision making, studying the school of Freud, and everything had an innuendo. I'm like, are you serious? Are you? And he used all the words. I'm like, oh my goodness, how can we? And Adam, of course, caught all of them and took them to the next step in chat. Adam, I'm outing you right here.
Yeah. Sometimes court doesn't help. No. That's for certain. But it's okay. I did want to give one quick shout out to somebody. Not everyone knows, and I don't even know the full story, but this individual Melissa P, welcome to the podcast. I saw her say earlier that she really needed this podcast this week. I've seen in the Facebook group, just having a rough go at it. I don't know the circumstances, haven't asked, and I won't. But glad you're here, and I see you in chat, and you're hanging out, and you made it. And I see you've got support from other people. So, Melissa P, I hope you get some laughs out of this one, whether it's with us or at us, either or. It's good for you. So,
Melissa,
thanks.
Selena, Notorious Jules, all of them have some big things going on in life that could use some thoughts and prayers. Just remember, there's some people out there going through some tough stuff, and a lot of times we try to be lighthearted and just remember that even though for some of us this is just another fun day, other people are just nervous beyond belief about what's coming tomorrow. And so I just encourage you guys to be thoughtful in your chat and realize that some people come here for support, just to lean on each other to get through the next day. So
100%.
Appreciate all of you for sure.
And that's why this podcast is so fun, because Scott and I, we are fully aware that a good 95+% of the chat isn't laughing with us. They're laughing at us. And that's okay, because we understand what we're doing on the show and what's happening. And that's totally fine. We're okay with it. We are here for the tomatoes and to get made fun of. It's part of it. But laughter is such a good thing. It's so healthy. And I think you mentioned a great thing. Just don't forget those in chat. You have no idea what they're facing or potentially facing or what they're worried of. And it happens. And it's just so fun. I love the podcast because obviously it's a smaller group than the day show. And Scott and I talk about, we're completely fine with that because it's so many familiar, you say faces, but names that we haven't seen faces, that it's just a fun time, fun place to be. And Scott and I, after every single show, we just say how much we laughed and chuckled and had a good time interacting with chat and can't wait for the next one. And then off we go. So thanks for you all to be here. And like I said, laughing with or at us, because it makes our week too, from our day jobs and what we do. We have a good time with all of you.
I love what I do during the week, but this is the highlight of my week. I love this interaction both with Thomas and with all of y'all, not just live, but the comments we get afterwards on the people on the replay crew. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. Megan fractured my foot. Let's discuss this. What?
Oh, just Megan. When I was saying we're all friends here in chat. So
Megan, do we need to have a talk? There's two sides to this story. There must be. Maybe we need a mock court right here. Invite Krista and Megan. We'll need a judge. No. Hopefully your foot gets better. But that's funny. I would tell you, it's fun. This is fun because of the people. Okay, I can't say that enough. It's not me. It's not Thomas. It's this entire community together, and the interaction and the wittiness and the back and forth and some of the little inside jokes. If we took the people away, all the people away, obviously the show would be nothing.
Yeah.
But in some places in life, they do take the people away and think that this is an improvement. Say, for instance, driverless cars.
Yeah, that's a big one.
We're taking the driver out of taxis, and a lot of people say, good. I always get in a taxi. I'm like, I don't know, this guy looks sketchy as all get out. It'd be so cool if it was just your driver. Well, guess what? We're there. We're in the future. Welcome to today. We have driverless taxis.
Indeed.
And we have a problem because the driverless taxis are trying to act as people would when they're driving. So aside from, giving the one finger salute, they try to mimic drivers so that they could be predictable. So that other drivers who are drivers, like real people, can know what they expect. And part of what they've added into these, what was the brand of the cars? I think it's
Waymo or Waymo. It's Waymo. Waymo. Waymo.
Yeah, they're pretty cool cars. If you see them, they have like a big old tech installation on top, cameras everywhere, lights. It looks really. It looks like you're driving behind the Google Maps car. Okay, but It's a taxi, and the purpose is so it can be observant of what's around it. One of the things they upgraded these cars with is like, look, when it gets too close to another car or another car gets too close to it, honk, just alert the other driver. Hey, heads up, robot here. And you think, great. This is the team move of robot driving cars. When the cars aren't in use, they're parked. They're parked in a parking lot. And the great thing about robot cars is they can park perfectly. I mean, you can fit a lot of robot cars in a very small space.
Yes.
And they do at night when the cars are not in use, like in the middle of the night. Everyone's come home from the bars. They've had their robot driver take them home. Cars don't go back to the lot to get charged and ready for the next day. And the feature about honking is active. So 3 o'clock in the morning, as the cars are all headed back to the park, they all get in this really tight space and all try to park at the same time. And what do? They start honking at each other and reacting to other cars honking at them. And it becomes robots honking at robots. And the neighbors are just, they're sleepless because there are videos out on Twitter of all these cars just like beep, 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 and they're just edging forward and trying to just park. And there's no accidents yet. I haven't seen any crash.
Same.
They need to turn off the honk feature at their home parking lot at least.
100%. And I read it even occurs in the wee morning hours when they get ready to head out for the day and grab people to go to work, and they have to vacate that lot. There's a slick video of them all trying to maneuver and they can't, and they're all beeping and stopping. And I think there's a quote from residents that have surrounding high-rise apartments around it. And they're like, it's just a nightmare. They don't stop.
We've got a sound effect actually that would, it sort of works for that.
I wake up, I hear it. I walk down the steps, I hear it. Open the back door to let the dog out, you hear it.
Yeah. Could you hear that? Did it play on
I
your
can
side?
hear it.
Okay, that's actually the pickleball sound. That was the story.
Oh, that's right.
It's basically the same thing. It's just they're just honking all the time. Anyway, your ride's here and it's honking for you. So that's the short part of the story.
And that's so perfect because speaking of smart vehicles and the accent of that soundbite, we can just your story I think took place in California, so we can take a quick trip now out to New Jersey. With that accent and Tesla now. So a couple sitting in their living room and they hear this loud crash followed by a car alarm, and they're going, what the heck? So they jump out, and apparently this is a fairly newer purchase for them. They're very proud of the new Tesla, and so they're very concerned. They get out there.
Everyone's proud of their Tesla. Have you ever met a Tesla driver who's just like, oh yeah, sorry, it's just a Tesla. They're like, it's my Tesla. Beep, beep.
Fair. Although I know one Tesla owner that got rid of it real fast.
Yeah.
Another story down the road. But so they go out to find their windshield smashed, and they don't see anything obvious right away. They're going, what the heck? And so they're walking around kind of. Was I think part of the guess, right, where they lived, someone threw a brick or a rock, and then they inspect a little closer, and what do they find? They find a fish.
Where is this?
Jersey. And so they start thinking about it and going, well, someone threw a fish through it, but you can't throw a fish hard enough to go through a windshield. And then that's
some throw.
Yeah.
Fish are slippery too. I mean, that's tricky all around.
True. So the gentleman homeowner then started asking other people around, because there's other stories, not of smashed windshields, but finding fish and things like that. They're 1 mile from the coast. So apparently it's been a thing where birds that have hunted fish that just take off flying have dropped the fish in random areas, and they have ended up in these obscure areas. And so this fish flew out of the sky and smashed through the windshield of their Tesla.
He aimed for it, right? The animals, their stories all over the internet. You don't have to search very hard. Just Google animals versus people. They're everywhere. The animals are ganging up on us. The birds are
freshly
bombing us.
washed cars every time. Freshly washed
cars.
cars.
That's where it started, and it looks all innocent. Oops. No. But now you can go. I mean, the squirrels chewing the wires, everything. They're really. That's crazy. But a fish, dropped from a great height. The fish is actually quite aerodynamic.
I wish it said what kind of fish it was.
I'm thinking it was a big head carp, because it's non-native. And so, this is like Stephen King 2.0, though. I mean, as far as the birds go, because I've always worried about a large flock of birds. I guess that's what you call when you've got a crowd of birds together as a flock.
I guess.
But now it's the solo bird. I guess it is right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's generally, I know it's a murder of crows, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And we've gone over this before on the podcast about what things are called when they're in a group.
It's completely not relevant, so I'm sure we have.
What is it? What is it called when there are multiple birds of prey together? Other than just being a photographic dream.
Checking chat.
There's got to be something to call that.
Adam will know for sure because he's a big bird guy.
Murmur of starlings, a flock of seagulls. I like that. That's a band name. A raft of ducks. Is that serious?
I don't know, and I'm a huge duck fan. Now I needed to know that. We've got different variations of flock coming in.
Flock or I'm not sure which one it is. One of these is right.
We've got a flock, we've got a fluck, and we have a flick.
Mm-hmm. Death from above, says Officer Brian. I'll have to keep an eye on the sky. I rarely go outside now, at least during the daytime. The good thing birds are not mostly nocturnal. Just the owls are all we have to worry about at night. Man, family-friendly shows is Megan.
There was an L in every F word that was repeated. There was an L.
The gang of prey.
So I'm gonna jump ahead to the next one because it kind of goes with things kind of flying through the air. But this was in Texas, and this is pretty crazy, actually. So Texas highways, specifically in the last couple of weeks, there's always issues. There's just so many people, and it's getting overcrowded, just as other major cities. That's not just a Texas thing, but I just see it. But last week, this is in our notes. Did you see the thing? This is actually a serious one. A guy, I totally forget the cause, but I think he was initially spotted. This is like morning rush hour for potentially like drunk driving or something weird, and he wrecked into somebody. And he gets out, and bystanders are there, and they're coming around, and he starts trying to fight them. So then he jumps in and steals
the tow truck. Is it the tow truck guy?
So he steals yes, he's trying to steal like a city working tow truck, and but they stop him. So he jumps out, and then he steals another car from a bystander that was trying to stop him, and he runs her over. He's driving in circles while the traffic's back, and he runs her over. And finally, Good Samaritans that were kind of chase him down. I think he finally stops against. They're under an overpass, is where it all took place. They got a hold of him, grabbed him, tackled him. They're holding him on the freeway until the cops show up. And someone had video of nearly the whole thing. It's insane. So it was a wreck with one individual or one suspect, and it involved like 6 cars, 2 run over people. It was insane. But this one's different. This one is a semi truck pulling a flatbed down the highway. This is down near Judge Boyd, San Antonio, Texas area. And he's got a howitzer on the back of it.
Because who doesn't? I mean, this is Texas. I mean, by a show of hands in Texas, who does not have a howitzer? Nobody? I'm seeing no hands. Okay.
No hands. No hands.
This is something you can only do in Texas, right?
And
whether
M109
own a
howitzer.
Unless you're like a ski resort or something for snow, avalanche control.
Yeah. So, and for those that don't know, that's a tank, and his load was
tank. It's by tank. We're not talking like a storage tank. We're talking about army turret,
big
barrel.
tank. Yeah. And it comes off his trailer on the highway down in San Antonio. So,
any other state, it would be like ladder fell off truck onto freeway. In Texas, like howitzer fell off truck.
Howitzer. So it was reported. It wasn't military related. It was a civilian trucking crew, the wrecking crew that showed up to help, and there was no what do you call it? No military in apparel or anything on site. So I was actually talking to Scott about this a little bit because for those that don't know, there's a place, and I forget what it's called. It's called like B&R Ranch, something like that, down near San Antonio. And these guys have it's a huge hunting lodge. It's a huge firing range. And they also buy decommissioned military equipment as well. You can go stay in a cabin and you can literally pay to drive a tank and run over vehicles and shoot them at big targets. They'll set up like refrigerators with tannerite, and you can shoot the tank at it and watch the explosion and all that. So my guess, being in that area and not military related, is they were trying to add to their fleet before it fell off on the highway.
There's another explanation. Texas is the only state in the United States that has the right to secede from the Union. They just might be getting ready for that big move.
Saying, or just bringing in tanks. Well, we're not doing so hot. They're falling off our trailers.
Yeah, I've got to watch the news to see if Texas just decides to become its own country.
One tank at a time.
That is nuts. The picture is hilarious because it's basically taken from the passenger seat of a car behind it. It's like, well, that just happened. There's a howitzer looking down. You're looking down the barrel, sitting on the truck, falling off.
Yeah. For anyone that's curious, well, let me see if I can. Oh, I can't. But if anyone's curious, it's on YouTube from the news article, and it's titled "Tank Falls Off Flatbed Truck." No, you know what? I can't. Let
me see if I can.
Oh, I think I got it. Yeah. Which chat do I put it in? YouTube chat or StreamYard chat? I just put it in YouTube because
try to do a share to present on a window. See if it'll pop up.
I just put it in.
That's the video. Okay.
I cheated.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube video. It's
watch it after.
30-second clip.
You guys clicking on it now. What are you guys doing?
There everybody goes. Everyone's gone.
And they're gone.
I just closed down all the wrong tabs that I shouldn't have. So
par for the course.
Yeah.
That is I'm both astounded that there's just people buying howitzers in Texas, and at the same time a little bit jealous. I do not have a howitzer, just for the record. I guess I could put it on my Amazon wish list now. Is that where you buy it? You bet it from Amazon. It's probably an eBay thing, honestly. Amazon would probably be not a big fan of that, but eBay would probably be like, sure.
Super chat train for a howitzer?
Would be a long train. How much does a howitzer run? And I'm assuming they're like non-firing.
Well, as I mentioned, the ranch that buys decommissioned military stuff, they shoot from the tanks. They shoot stuff.
They like decommission by pulling out like one part. It's like, oh, you need that bolt. It won't shoot. And they're like, hey, you can buy the tank. It doesn't shoot. Like, okay. And do you want to buy this bolt? It's 50 cents. Sure. Now it shoots again. So
or it's perfectly fine and it's been in the fleet for 5 years, which is their max. That's not an accurate number. I'm just making that up, but it's perfectly fine condition. They're like, well, it's extended its lifetime that we have, so it's got to go. It's
how many miles is on a good used tank? Like, are you looking for something in like the 5,000 to 10,000 range? Because they're not really commuter. Well, they could be good commuter vehicles. And in heavy traffic, it could be very effective.
Should be very effective. So there's a website, millweb.net, and there's artillery, there's cannons, military jeeps, other explosives. I think it's not what I was looking for. I was trying to find what a howitzer would be for.
I'm pretty sure that there's I've got a fun little saying that I say there's a fine line between fun and felony, right? And
this is kind of it.
With having the howitzer, it seems like it gets you closer to that line.
Yes.
Like almost anything you do with it is probably over the line.
I found one. It's the same model, the M109 155 millimeter self-propelled howitzer for sale.
Does it have a buy it now button?
Oh man.
Just shipping?
Contact us for price. So I don't. Ooh, shipping and delivery. Will not ship to Texas. No, I'm kidding. It just says.
I don't have my phone, or else I'd ask Siri how much they cost.
Wow. I'm going to contact them.
Please do.
It's via email. Importer, wholesaler, distributor, manufacturer, retailer.
Make sure you tell them you're from YouTube so they know that you're serious. Because I think that's the only people that buy these.
maybe I won't. I don't want to. So mctdefense.com, not sponsored, but that's where this came from. So if anyone wants to explore, wow, that's wild. You can apparently buy anything. You can buy a tank.
It astounds me. I'm a big personal freedom guy. I love that. I love to be able to do just about anything you want to on your property that doesn't infringe on somebody else's rights.
Yeah.
This seems like, I'm not sure if this is a good idea. With how risky it is, first of all, a tank can pretty much shoot off of anyone's property. You need a lot of land to be able to say, I can contain this round at any angle. If this thing goes off, it's not going to go into my neighbor's yard and take out a herd of cows or something like that.
Yeah.
But
oh,
so I would say this would be a very easy to accomplish the checkbox bucket list felony committed tab.
On the tank.
If we can go to the other side of how easy it is to get into trouble. With our next story, it sort of takes us back to the world of true crime, because we sometimes go court hopping, and we end up in courts where we see judges interacting with everything from landlord and tenant issues up through criminal, and in the court hopping, it's sort of bizarre. One time we watched Judge Kenneth King. Judge Kenneth King is a great judge, very dynamic. He's got a lot of personality to him.
He does.
He's in the news right now because he was holding court, just regular court, and a local junior high school shows up to learn about civics, and they show up to watch a court in action. Well, guess what? When I was in junior high, I might have been interested in this, but I can't think of any teenagers today who would be like, "Oh, yes, sign me up for that field trip. I'm all over that one. Please, may I watch court in progress?"
I'm with you.
So, what do you think a teenager? what do you think a teenager would do sitting in court for an hour on an assignment?
Play on their phone would be my first guess.
Phones aren't allowed. Deputies say nope, no phones.
But kids, right? Someone sneaking something, and they're going to be sitting there. That would be my guess out the gate.
Well, I think they were pretty strict on the phones, and with nothing to do, when a teenager is bored, I know this from personal experience, they sleep. If they can't play on the phone, eat. The next thing is sleep. Those are the top three that keep them alive. And so there's a girl, 14 years old, sitting in the back of the court, and nods off.
Okay.
Judge Kenneth King sees it, and he's like, "You, up to the front. If you fall asleep in my court again, I'm going to lock you up."
So he treats it like it's real court with these kids as onlookers then. Okay.
And she does. And he does. He handcuffs her, puts her in a jail outfit, full on. And he has defended his actions. Literally, he's done an interview with the news saying, I just wanted, put a little fear into her, respect from the court. I think I would have, I did the right thing. He may be removed from the bench. There is so much pushback. You can't just lock up a 14-year-old who's on a school field trip because she wasn't paying attention in your court.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's a little heavy, Judge. Hey, and I'm all for life lessons, kind of this get scared straight type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's waivers for that and stuff. And so for her to fall asleep, I mean, give her a little reprimand or something. But not only doing that scared the daylights out of her, it embarrassed the heck out of her in front of her peers and things like that. There's a different way to go about teaching a life lesson. That's a little heavy to me.
You want to see what might happen? Here's my prediction. I think the judge is going to find himself in court. I think this juvenile may have cause to sue the judge, and the judge might learn a quick life lesson.
Yeah,
which is
wow.
Which would be it's poetic justice is what it would be. But yeah, I'm going to have to follow the story. Obviously, the community is pretty upset. The girl, her parents are pretty upset. The judge is pretty defiant. He's come out and spoken about it, which is the number one thing not to do when you've done something wrong. Okay, to defend yourself and double down. We might have to visit his courtroom this week and just see the vibe, what's going on now, because
Well, I know his criminal docket's been put on hold, or he's been pulled from the criminal docket. So they're going to see other judges. Yeah. But if he has a hearing over this and it's public, she should show up and sleep in the gallery during his hearing.
And snore like full on, full volume.
Yeah. Show up in her pajamas with a pillow and just sit in the gallery.
This bench is mine, guys. It's mine. Yeah. It's front row.
Oh, that's big. I'm so big on fairly heavy discipline with kids and strict rules, but I have to admit something. I debated heavily on this or not, but so you sang to my daughter happy birthday on Monday.
Yes.
Which was fantastic. I did a quick record. And so her and my wife were still on their vacation in Florida. So I texted and she texted back, "Oh my gosh, that's so awesome," which I failed to tell you. So thank you. Oh. And
you're saying too, though, right?
Yeah, definitely not. Okay. And so I was gone in Colorado, home for a day and a half. My wife and daughter then left for Florida. And so all the days, the time zones, like your face, everything was messed up, right? So shortly after, she texts me that and says, "Thank you so much. That was so awesome." She's like, "Hey, my birthday's on Thursday, right?"
Thomas, you pulled a Scott. You pulled a Scott.
1,000%. Today is her birthday. Oh, man. There's so many blessings in life because they were out of town. I would have had cake. I would have had the presents that I got her all laid out on the counter for her to wake up.
Surprise!
Yeah. Surprise. Happy birthday. I love you. And no, they were out of town. Yeah. So I went, "Oh, I don't know. I think I told her, I thought today was the day. I had no idea what date. So I had to reconfigure what today was, the date was, what was going on. And it gets worse. It gets way worse. Thanks, Roy. So the next day they're traveling home, and our family, we share our location stuff with each other, so we know what's going on, especially when we're traveling all the time.
How would that be, Mrs. R.A.?
So in the morning, the girls love to sleep in a little bit, and I knew they had a flight in the morning. And by morning, I say just prior to lunch, I look and see that their flight departs in like 45 minutes, and they're just now leaving their hotel, which is like 30 minutes away. So I'm texting my wife. I'm like, "You overslept?" She's like, "Stop. My anxiety's already through the roof. I don't need this." So naturally, I keep going. Right.
You double down.
Yes.
Yeah. You know you're late, right?
So I'm on Flight Radar 24 and on Delta, and I'm plugging in everything. Well, their connecting flight that's coming to pick them up is delayed. So I'm saying, "Hey, you're going to be okay. Your flight's actually going to be delayed by a little bit." I'm looking at all this. And then it hits me. They were in Destin, Florida. It's the same time zone as me, Central Time. It's not Eastern. She was freaking out because she wasn't getting to the airport 2 hours early. She was only going to be an hour early. I had it in my mind they were Eastern Time, and she's going to show up the minute they're supposed to depart. The worst part is it happened to me the whole weekend. Like, they already had dinner. Why hasn't she called me yet? It's getting late. It's the same time I'm in. It never dawned on me until she's finally like, "Yeah, we made it. We board in 30 minutes. We're just grabbing a coffee." And I hate to admit it all, but I have to, because I was giving them a hard time. So I need to.
It takes a big man to admit fault. Thomas, you were at fault.
I was so bad. So the timelines, I'm like, "Why haven't you called me? It's late. You're late for your flight. Happy birthday. It's not your birthday." And so fast forward.
It's been a rough week. It's been a rough week.
I'm so glad they're home. I missed them to pieces. We've had a good birthday today. I got her some tech stuff, so she's pumped because she does a little bit of gaming and whatnot. So she's had a great birthday. She got a couple friends. They're spending the night. We've made it. We made it. I don't know how.
It was close. There were times we didn't think we would. I still struggle. I mean, I think the most common question I ask in mod chat is, "What time is that mountain time?" Because I cannot figure out in my head. I'm like, okay, I have to wake up early because I'm still on Eastern time for that court. And then the whole podcast. I don't know when the podcast starts normally, like at home. And so now trying to remember that and put a time shift on it. It's been terrible. It's been terrible.
Yeah. So see, Florida has 2 time zones.
Sorry.
Yes. I even came clean to one of my coworkers because I was telling him the saga of she's late for her plane. She's always late. This is going to be a big life lesson. And so I had to admit to him, oh, it's on me. And he went, Florida has 2 time zones? I never would have thought that.
So I have a question. How bad would it be, since time is like a man-made construct, right? We invented clocks, right? How bad would it be just to all have like a universal time that everyone used, like UTC, but we actually used UTC. Like everyone's watch was UTC.
Yeah, it would just, I think it'd be fine if that's how we started, but we're all adjusted now. So it would be hard if we switched it now. And for me being like, okay, it's nighttime at 3:30 and down the line, people going, oh, it's not, sunset's not till 1 a.m. It would mess with people if we did it now.
But if you had to fly across the country, you're like, oh, my flight's 6 hours. You don't have to be like, oh, but then every 30 minutes I actually cross a time zone. You don't have to do this weird. It's just like, yep, I'll make it. I've got 7 hours. I'll land with an hour to spare, and you don't have to make any changes.
That's true. But I will say it's kind of nice because when I leave Dallas, Texas and fly to San Diego, it's a 2.5 hour flight. When I land in San Diego, I gain 2 hours. So I go, I only lost 30 minutes of my day being in the air.
Why am I so tired?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It beats you up physically for sure. My buddy actually did that. He said, I forget what town he flew from. I forget where he's flying from, but to Chicago. However, it worked out. He landed and it was 20 minutes prior to when he had taken off. So he went, I've got all this free time.
Yes. Can go back in time, find out what the winning lottery numbers are.
Yeah.
Draw. Yeah, I've got all these big plans for if we could do that.
100%. So no, I'm with you. Time zones get screwed, especially when you got people like Arizona that don't do daylight saving time. So every year you're going, what time is it there? I don't know. But that's why we've got Siri on our watches and phones for those of us that aren't smart enough to keep up with everything.
I have an actual prediction. I think in our lifetimes, the U.S. will get rid of daylight savings.
You think the entire U.S. will?
I'm saying within 15 years. 15 years, daylight savings is gone.
When's the last time someone made the adjustment to
farmers, right? Wasn't it created for farmers?
Yeah, absolutely.
We outnumber the farmers. I realize we depend on them for food, and I'm not slighting the farmers in any way, but you guys deal with it because it screws up the rest of us when we have to lose an hour of sleep once a year. This is too much for us to sacrifice. The cows wake up on the same time no matter what, right? They wake up when the sun comes up and they start mooing. That's when you go out and milk them. Why do we need to change the clock?
I can't argue against it. When's the last time a state changed it?
I think within the last 3 or so years, several states have voted and saying if other states do, we'll join. Like if the majority of states, I think the majority, like there's enough states that have passed the ban daylight savings resolution that if we'd all voted like the same year, we would have done the change already. We just need everyone to sort of get on the same page and make it happen.
So we're going to get all 50 states on board in the next 15 years. I'll take that bet.
How
much you bet?
Just enough to make the other people be the minority.
Yeah.
How much do we bet? Well, 15 years. What? Anything I bet now will be worth like 10 times that in 15 years. So.
Yeah.
0.000000000 bitcoins. Does that work? We'll all be using Bitcoin at that point too, right, Ivan?
Oh, that's crazy. This is the worst segue ever. Speaking numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking numbers, one article I wanted to put in here was a metal detectorist, I believe it was, found a ring in like Kentucky after 61 years, a missing wedding ring. And as people collect jewelry, I started going down the rabbit hole of collecting things. And then I found one that really piqued my interest for some weird reason. Because this lady has a big collection of this item.
Okay, chat. Wrong answers only.
No, they'll get it right.
Unless you've read the story and then you can't guess. What is the oddest collection you've heard of?
And this one, so looking at the date on this one, this is a couple weeks old. So if anyone scours the internet, they might have seen it. But this one's okay. There's one.
Bingo.
No.
Yeah.
Nailed this story. No. This is a big collection. And they piecemealed this collection off to put it into an auction. So toenails, Paula Mac. Okay. Mine seems not as gross for some reason, actually.
The story's looking better and better.
Yeah. Cleaning this one up. So this lady has 163 of these items, put them in 6 to 12 packs into a Bateman's auction, and everyone just whiffed on it. Said, no, thanks. I'm out of here. I don't need it. Don't want it. Don't.
She had how many?
163 of these.
163. My mom has 187 or 89 mortar and pestles. The little pharmacy grinder bowls. So
much more usable than this.
It's museum quantity when you have that many.
Well, how would you like a museum quantity of bedpans?
Nope. No, thank you, please. Next. Hard pass on that one.
Started with a slipper bedpan that she bought for 64 cents, and that was just a start. And then I want to collect something different, Jacob says. It snowballed from there, and I found myself going around so many places to add to my collection. Bedpans.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have any spare bedpans? Where do you go to get bedpans? I mean,
Miss Jacobs, apparently.
Is this something that just you find in a thrift shop?
Who would do that? I don't even know. But she promises they're all clean and nice and tidy and sterilized.
Yeah, so it's basically like kitchenware at this point, right?
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry.
You fill it with milk and then you just put a slice of cake in it, because that's what people would do with a bedpan that eat cake like that.
Too soon, man.
That's what they would do. Offered for sale in 17 groups, varying from 6 to 12. No takers. So now she's certain there's someone out there that'll take them, and she's hoping someone, because she said she's elderly. I think she's ballpark 77 to 80 is what the article said. They were in a cupboard in her bedroom, but she needs the room, so she's looking to offload these.
I would say arguably it was in the bathroom. If any room that's in the bathroom, whatever
room they're in, that's the bathroom. Bedpans, 163.
So she needs to get on eBay. Just take a couple pictures of each one, inside, outside, top, bottom, front, back. It's a lot of pictures. You'll probably be paying a few $100s for the extra picture cost. But there's somebody out there who's like, oh man, I need that. It's probably like a Ripley's Believe It or Not or type of museum that will pay, or some weird company. What company would do this? What company would sponsor this? I think like a Sticker Mule.
Yeah.
they do some pretty strange stuff with their advertising.
They're clean, washed, in fantastic condition, she says. She attempted to offload them. There was another one, the improved ideal bed and
Adam
Joneswear Relax number 500 is one of the editions. I don't know. There's a whole there's so many. They would make great cyclone thunder.
Depends. Might be, it's like, hey, either or, would you rather is basically what their advertisement would say.
Good segment we used to do on the show. We need to do that next week. Would you rather 163 bedpans or not? I think it's a hard no. My gosh.
Oh, man. So they failed to sell. I'm astounded.
They failed. It's not on the sheet. I want to just skip ahead, drop it real quick. Two quick lottery updates.
Yeah.
A gentleman who one evening missed the jackpot on his lottery ticket. This is last week. Missed it by one number. Nailed it the next day.
It's like playing Mastermind. when you say, well, you got right number, wrong position, right? He's like,
Yeah.
oh, just one more, made the change, and he's like, boom,
Nailed it.
got it.
So misses the lottery by one number, and then bam, hits the next. Number two, this one's actually sad, but I actually want to throw it out there for those that might gamble, because it's actually something to think about. Situational awareness. A couple down in Tampa, they hit a $3,000 jackpot on a slot machine. So they packed their cash, went home. Lo and behold, they got followed all the way home. And I don't think it was very close. I think they were 30 to 40-minute travel home to where they were, and then got terribly mugged at their front door for the winnings. And the security camera of the casino shows the suspects pretending to be on cell phones and hanging around people gambling. And when that couple hit, they congregated, and then it showed them following them out to the parking lot, showed them getting in cars to follow them, and then other surveillance, miles down the road, showed them following. So for those that do gamble, if you ever do hit anything like that or anything, be cautious. See who's watching, who's following, who's being around, because this is not an isolated story. I've seen it long before. It just has now happened again and made headlines.
This sounds like something where they were waiting. They're waiting and watching. It was
100% plan.
They're waiting for somebody to win big, and then
because the suspects were actually, it was two that were working it, and they had a driver waiting outside. So as soon as they followed the victims, they got in a different car. The driver followed them. They got out, did the mugging, jumped back in the car while the driver waited. So definitely planned. They weren't there gambling. They're hanging out. They're going. Yeah, Britt Bottoms. Exactly. No clocks in Las Vegas, because if you notice, when you're in Vegas, for the most part, in a casino, especially most of them, it's the same lighting. There's no windows. You can't see outside. They don't want you to know, oh my gosh, I sat down at 9:30 at night and it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm still gambling. That's why they do it. Yes. So if you get some,
there was a punchline in there, and you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. Going back to the casinos, though, talk about sneaky. There are a lot of companies that will be sneaky about how they advertise, especially if nowadays with computers, with AI, with your phone that's listening to you and then reports and just sells information to Amazon. And it's like, the thing I just mentioned for the first time in 10 years with my friend just came up on my recommendations list. Yeah, they're sneaky that way. Casinos take it to a next level, and they've been doing it for years.
They're smart.
There are casinos that will increase the oxygen level in the room to keep people more alert and awake, so they don't feel tired to go to sleep. They will manipulate or carefully plan the floor plan of the machines, so the loudest machines that are paying out small payouts are near the edges to draw people in from the people are winning thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole bank of things, and the house always wins. It doesn't matter how many people win the lottery or win in the casino, the house is winning day in and day out for sure.
100%. My dad just sent a message, and it said, bedpan punch bowl for your next party.
I guess pouring might be easier. I'm just
I need that story to go to bed.
You brought it up. I'm just saying, you brought that one here, so you have to deal with the consequences.
This is true. I gotta swallow that one. Dang it. Oh,
I'm curious. I wanted to see a story about today. I was on Google, and you know how Google has, like, sometimes they have something a little fancy about their name. What's that called when they have a funny, like today Google's spelled in flowers, or Google's made out of a Picasso painting style. What's that called when Google does that?
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you mean, because especially on certain holidays and whatnot, that's happening.
The doodle. The doodle, says Britt Bottoms.
The Google doodle.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to Google that really quickly, because I saw something today and I wanted to click on it, and now it's gone.
Same. Well, it's up on YouTube. It's gone on Google, but YouTube's still doing it. It's called Meet the Lego Community. So if you go to your YouTube tab, top left.
I saw the Legos. I saw that. I was thinking it was going to be like the anniversary of Legos creation. There it is.
I haven't clicked it. I don't know what it means, but it's Legos on YouTube right now. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, Red Pen's got it. Today's Google Doodle is Lego.
It's a Lego.
But we don't know why. Obviously, there's relevance.
I was thinking it was either something about the creation of Google or about Legos, or it was just an homage to all of us who have, as adults, who have stepped on Legos that our kids have left on the floor. It's like, hey, I've been there. I still feel the pain.
So this is weird. It makes no sense of why. So I pulled it up. It's January 28th, 2008. The Google homepage was taken over by Lego Google Doodle, celebrating the 50th birthday of the Lego brick. Obviously, that has nothing to do with August 15th, so I don't know why.
It must be a slow news day at Google. Like, I don't know. Just pull something up from a couple of years ago. Like, Legos? I'm like, sure, run with it. No problem.
CEO stepped on a Lego last night for one of his kids, so decided to make that his highlight. One of the worst things.
Or maybe it's a disgruntled employee who's like, look, I've had enough. This is the warning to the kids. I know they're on the internet, and I know they're leaving their Legos out, and this is how I can send a message to them saying, you better pick up the Legos, because when I come home, so if I step on one, they're going to the garbage. That's like my level of thinking on this.
Which I almost made a story last week for the podcast that I showed. A guy made a diesel engine out of Legos. And I don't know the full dimensions. I want to say it's like maybe 3 by 4 foot or even smaller than that. That sits on a desk, but it's a fully
hot.
It's
just like Lego. I mean, it doesn't actually run diesel. Is it just like the mechanics of the diesel engine? It's
got to be. Yeah, there's got to be no liquid involved. But it was fully running. It was really, really neat. I don't know what actually propelled it, but
it's next level builder. I mean, what's that called? Master builder? Is that what they call it in the Lego movie?
No,
master builder.
No, it's just too much time on your hands is what they call it.
It's an adult who never grew up, is what you're saying. Well, speaking of Legos and building, my kids absolutely love Legos. My middle child, I guess I have 2 of those, but one of my middle children, we gave him it's a knockoff Lego brand that's a micro Lego, and instead of having like the regular regulation size little circles and holes, they're probably a quarter that size, so it's really, really small. We gave him like a 3,600 piece puzzle, and it took him like 3 months to build it, and he loved it. And the most impressive part, he left it sitting in the corner of the family room. Okay, and he took out all the pieces and bagged them according to their varieties of what they were for. So we've got all these Ziploc bags, and he's like, this is phase 1, this is phase 2. He took it and sorted it very, very meticulously.
Wow.
And then he built level, and he built the whole thing just layer upon layer. So everything at this layer was built, everything on the next layer was built.
Impressive.
And it was just incredible. It was a Big Ben tower, 3,600 pieces, and the whole thing, was about yay tall.
Dang.
But I was going to say, speaking of building, there has been some building inventions. Did we talk about this already? Some construction techniques that have come a long way. I mean, you've heard of a stick frame home and brick, brick and mortar.
100%.
Brick and mortar is always great because it's sturdy, right? They do really well in heavy wind conditions where stick frames tends to not do so hot. Well, right. There's a company that can print houses, 3D print your house. And a 3D printer, if you've never seen one, it looks like a, you know what a doodle pen is? A doodle pen is a 3D printer. It like just melts plastic, and instead of drawing ink, it leaves like melted plastic, and you can build.
Yeah.
They do that with a house, only they have a huge printer on massive conveyor system. Think of like the sky cam at a football game, but it's instead of filming, it's dumping cement. In a glob in a row, and it builds houses. You can print the walls. You can print an entire house in like a day and a half.
That's incredible.
Done. Of course, it looks like layers of dung piled on top of each other. So you've got to do something to cover it up. Maybe some siding or something. But it's
went with dung.
I don't know what else to call it. It's great.
Concrete. Looks like layers of concrete.
Concrete is nice and smooth. This is just like, and then left.
Sound effects.
I think that's the sound it makes as it prints the house. There are YouTube movies, 3D printed house is all I have to search for, and they literally attach the GoPro to the print head, and they put concrete in on one end, and this thing just goes around and prints the whole house. It makes. I think it makes that sound. You know, I'm not sure if I'd live in one.
We've got a new command.
Hashtag done. Clipped, says Amber. Thank you. Amber, appreciate it. Can always count on you when we need to. Oh my!
That's pretty interesting though, and they're doing full neighborhoods, right? This isn't just someone that experimented and did fun. It's a legit
like
thing, right?
There's developments. You can do it in isolated places, but there are developments that are doing the whole thing that way. I guess if everyone has a house made of dung, then no one looks silly, right? Is that the idea?
Everybody looks.
All the neighbors are doing it. All the cool people have the poop house.
House made of dung.
It's not dung, I know, but it looks funny. Oh my goodness, Thomas! What a week! What a week!
It's been a great week. You know, I'm proud of your son for how fast he put that together. But I've got to put a little flex on it because I put together a puzzle in about 6 weeks, and the box said 3 to 5 years. So,
you know, you take the wins as you can get them. So. Thomas, appreciate you. This is always the highlight of my week. Thank you to everybody who joined us in chat. Thanks to our amazing mods who have been through the ringer today. I'm sorry and thank you at the same time. It's been a long, crazy week.
It's been fun though. It's been a lot.
One more day. Weekend's upon us tomorrow. Do you have any big plans?
Staying cool. We're gonna be 107, 108, 109 the next 3-ish days or so.
That's not cool.
No, I might go fish a little bit one early morning, and then
the fish will come to you if you wait long enough. Just look up. You plan on getting the howitzer? Nothing.
I should take the howitzer fishing. That'll get the job done.
Go. Kill two birds with one stone.
No. Good. Gonna lay low and gonna be envious that I'm not in your neck of the woods where it's gonna be cooler and prettier sights. But
sorry about that.
This is the first weekend in 2 full weeks where the family will be home together and relaxing. So I'm all for it.
That's cool. That's cool. I don't have any big plans. It's funny because we're on vacation. We've got all these plans. We like packed everything in, and now we're like, oh, we're exhausted.
Yeah.
And, now we're like, what do you want to do today? And we're like, I don't know. How about we just sit at home? So we're on vacation, 2,000 miles away from home. It's like today's the lay on the couch day. I think for me is what I'm going to do this weekend. Maybe I keep saying metal detector. I've got metal detector sitting right over there on the floor. It's charged. The park's in the backyard. Might give it a go.
Well, when you're there, as long as you are, you can afford to take a few days of just relaxing. You don't have to pack every single day full of activity and all that. And since you're from the area somewhat, you're familiar. So not everything you're seeing is foreign. So I think days of relaxation and hanging out is completely warranted in your case.
But what's going to happen is, like, with 3 days to go, I'm going to be like, oh crap, we've got all these things I wanted to do, and I took so many days off. Now we can't get it done. All right, Thomas, have yourself a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much. Thanks to the mods. Thanks to everybody in chat. All the amazing gifters, the generous donations that got so many people in green. You guys are amazing. Have yourself a wonderful week. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the show.
Bye, everybody.